Plane carrying wrong passenger for hours returns to LAX. All Nippon Airways has apologized to 226 passengers that were treated to an 8-hour flight to nowhere because of an administrative mix-up. ANA Flight 175 was set to fly from LAX to Tokyo, but 4 hours into the journey, the crew discovered an extra passenger on board. Two brothers with similar names were booked on separate flights on 2 separate airlines to Tokyo, but somehow both got on ANA Flight 175. Model and TV personality Chrissy Teigen happened to be on the flight with her hubby with the pipes, John Legend, and gave live tweet updates as the 8-hour U-turn unfolded. Yeah, it must have been horrible sitting in first class for 8 hours. First world problems. What Teigen should have done is made John give the 226 passengers a little in-flight concert. Now that would have been an epic flight to nowhere. Please fasten your seatbelts. Airbus plane engine falls apart over the Atlantic. An Air France flight en route from Paris to Los Angeles was forced to make a slight detour when one of its engines disintegrated over the Atlantic on Saturday. The Airbus A380 was just east of Greenland carrying 496 passengers and 24 crew members when one of its engines experienced a serious failure. According to passengers, there was a loud boom and then a lot of shaking. Luckily, the fast-acting pilots quickly shut the engine down and were able to stabilize the plane in under 30 seconds. The plane flew for about an hour on 3 engines before arriving at Goose Bay Airport in eastern Canada. 2 777s were eventually sent from Montreal to pick up the passengers and take them the rest of the way to LA. The cause of the engine failure is still unknown and currently being investigated.
In news about airline absurdities, this one really takes the cake. JetBlue put a damper on a Jersey family's Las Vegas birthday bash when they decided to boot them off a flight over a cake. The Burks had brought the buttercream confection with them as part of their carry-on and initially stored it in the overhead bin. When a flight attendant told them they had to move it, they stashed it in under the seat. A second flight attendant berated her colleague and then accused Dad Cameron Burke of being non-compliant. Her behavior struck him as irrational, so he asked if she'd been drinking. She stormed off, and another flight attendant asked them to leave the plane, prompting tears from the Burke kids. Port Authority police was called on board, and one officer can be heard saying the family had done nothing wrong. Still, JetBlue reps ordered everyone to deplane in order to get them off the flight.
It's all right, baby boy. I know. Exactly. For cake?
We're just here.
A cake.
We were told that there's supposed to be some police action to take in. We're here. I don't see any wrongdoing.
Thank you.
Okay. So
I moved the cake. It's a birthday cake.
You were not. Okay. All right.
Thank you so much, sir.
No one's in any trouble. I just need to have your ID, just for a report.
Sure, no problem.
Unfortunately, it got reported to us. No one did anything wrong. Okay.
No problem.
All right. Everyone's gonna be okay, and they're just gonna, unfortunately, they're gonna have to rebook everyone, and that's
rebook everyone.
And this is why we're trying to avoid that. We wish we.
This is JetBlue.
It's JetBlue. So
JetBlue.
So
wow. Here you go.
Right? Thank you. No one's in any. No, buddy. You're okay. All right. Don't cry. It's all right.
Thank you, Officer Chen. What's your name, Chen?
Hold on. Everyone stay seated, okay? Everyone just stay seated.
Thank you very much.
Everything's gonna be okay.
Don't worry, you'll be all right.
They were refunded in full and ended up taking a United flight to Sin City the next day. Burke is thinking of suing and wants the rude flight attendant fired. But JetBlue is standing their ground. claiming Burke refused requests to remove the cake, yelled and cursed at the crew, and made false accusations about one attendant's fitness to fly. Dutch researchers propose circular airport runways. Scientists in the Netherlands are working at the country's aerospace center to develop circular airport runways. Researchers at the Endless Runway, a project funded by the European Commission, believe circular runways could have several benefits, including being more environmentally friendly and less noisy. The group proposes constructing a 3.5-kilometer wide circular runway with banked sides, divided into 18 runway segments, with the airport terminal in the center of the circle. The length of the circular runway would be equal to 3 straight runways, while being able to handle the air traffic of 4. Circular runways would allow planes to land and take off at any point in the circle. Pilots would be able to land in directions with the most favorable weather conditions, while avoiding difficult maneuvers in situations such as strong crosswinds. The circular design would also mean aircraft coming into land circle the airport fewer times, thus using less fuel. The design allows for 3 planes to land and take off at the same time. Because of centrifugal forces, planes would automatically go slower and move toward the center of the runway. Circular runways could also limit noise pollution by spreading it more evenly around the airport. The U.S. military conducted tests in the 1960s with circular runways, but commercial circular runways have never been built.
Fabulous. Just what the Antarctic needs. Chinese tourists flying to the South Pole for a vacay. China claims it has flown its first commercial flight to Antarctica carrying 22 tourists. The trip consisted of a 14-hour flight from Hong Kong to South Africa, refueling in Cape Town, and then another 5.5 hours to Antarctica. After reaching Antarctica, it was another 5 to 6 hours to the South Pole, where the plane landed on a 1.5-mile-long runway carved into the ice. The number of Chinese tourists in Antarctica has reportedly grown from 100 in 2008 to 3,944 in 2016. We feel sorry for the penguins.